algoriters. It's Wednesday, and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. All right, I'm Al Reynolds. I'm the judge, and you, the people, will serve as the jury. As you know, here in the Court of Public Opinion, your voice can and will be heard. So don't forget to jump into those comments. Ask us a couple of questions, especially if there's something that you're interested in knowing more information about, and let our legal beagles help you with any legal issues that you have. Please don't forget to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you are subscribed, hit that share button. Invite some friends over to come check out this show because it is hot. Today is hump day. Don't forget to turn on your notifications because we're going to break down the Jussie Smollett case, the hoax actually, with the Dario brothers live right here on the set. And you can ask them any and every question that you have as it relates to the case. Also, don't forget, jump in those comments. We love it when you guys engage with us and ask us questions and even question what it is that we're trying to teach you tonight. All right, on Hump Day Wednesday, we have a wonderful panel, some that we haven't seen in a while. Let's welcome her back first, the one and the only, and the one everyone's been asking about, our civil attorney, Simone Redwine. Simone Redwine, welcome back to
the
y'all.
I've missed you. I have missed you. So good to see you.
That YouTube channel must be blowing up. Look at that new camera.
Well, you look in like my social life. Yeah.
You look like a supermodel. All right, everybody. And let you know we got to get them when we got them. Let's welcome our criminal defense attorney, Brian Ross. Brian Ross, welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion.
If it doesn't fit, you must have quit.
Oh God, no wonder you have a hard time with these ladies. And last but not least, and she's definitely not last and definitely not least, let's welcome that fiery civil attorney, Shatan Turner. Shatan Turner, welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion.
Hey algoriters. Hump with it. Hump with
it. I feel like we're going to get into it tonight, and I can't wait. We got a bunch of great stories for you. Don't forget that red wine emoji, that briefcase emoji, that fire emoji, as well as that fax emoji for all of us in the chat to let us know that you are enjoying the show. All right, court is now in session. First up, Love Island star Hannah Smith. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. Hannah Smith has been arrested on charges of making terroristic threats, which is a serious felony, especially under Georgia law. And I can't wait for us to break that down. Terrorist threats occur when someone threatens to commit a crime of violence with the intent to terrorize other persons. Now, we know she was arrested by a black female cop, and baby, did she have some words for this cop. She called her all types of names. She told her that she was going to kill her, and she called her a black bitch. Attorney Shatan Turner, talk to me about, and the reason why I want us to make this relatable to the algoriters and anybody else that's watching is you can't just say anything. I don't care if you're drunk, intoxicated, or you can't just say anything to a police officer. It's different when you're fighting with a girlfriend, but you can't say anything with a police officer. Shatan Turner, please talk to me about what's going on in this case.
Thank you, Your Honor. So here's the thing that people need to recognize. Even though we got people who are hotheads, like I have some cousins, they will fight you in a minute and they'll call you B and every other name, right? They'll take off their earrings, they'll put on their Vaseline, and they don't care if they catch a charge, right? On the other hand, you have me, mindful and demure, right? But people are under the misconception that they can say whatever they want. And there's like a Supreme Court case that I'm sure Attorney Redwine and Ross remember from law school, where I think it was Oliver Wendell Holmes said, you can say anything, but you can't say fire in a crowded movie theater, right? There are limits to what free speech allows. And where the line is drawn often has to do with threats of violence and comments that you have the intention of carrying out. And so under this case, this woman was being arrested by the officer. She was upset about it, and she's making comments like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill your sister. She was completely out of control. One, in Georgia, it's actually a crime in and of itself to intimidate or injure a police officer. So that's one of the things. But where they got her with the terroristic threats, is a charge that is broader than just going after police officers. It has to do with the types of comments that were made to another person. And under this case, that little girl with all the cleavage and showing all the ass in that picture, she is facing the possibility that she might not be able to vote. And she also might not be able to carry a firearm if convicted because of penalties in Georgia. So this is a whole hot mess, all because she was drunk, allegedly.
Got it. A criminal defense attorney, Brian Ross, you practice in Miami. You see these types of behaviors all the time. What is it? They also are charging her with willful obstruction. What exactly is willful obstruction?
Let's suppose you are being arrested for something and the police say, sit down, and you don't. That can be considered willful obstruction, meaning you are intentionally disobeying the police. Let's suppose you say nothing, and then the police try to take your hands and put them behind your back. And in doing so, you jerk your hands away and try to move it so they can't handcuff you. That can be called willful obstruction. In some jurisdictions, willful obstruction is also called resisting arrest without violence. They're essentially the same thing. So here, this woman who looks fantastic in her glamour shots, but that booking photo, man, you ain't the same girl.
Do we have that booking photo, Bailiff?
If I was your man, I'd have been like, hold on, I got to play.
I want my money back, right?
You want my money back. They're like the difference maker. So
let's go to, and this is, Shaitan touched on this earlier, and Simone, I want to get your lean in on this. Let's go to why and how they're also trying to get her for hate speech. What about because she was calling the officer a black bee? Is it because the officer is a federal employee? Because I mean, isn't that just her perception, or that's what she thinks? Why can't she call a police officer a black bee?
Because specifically what she said was, quote, I hate you black bees, so I can't wait to kill you and your sister, you dumbass bee. So because she said, because of your race, I want to pow. That's why.
That's right.
You can call people a black bee all day. You call them that? Yeah, but you can't say because of that I want to hurt you or harm you.
Okay, so let me ask all three attorneys, help me with this last concept here, and we'll move on from her. So is there a particular law, Brian, where actual police officers from the criminal side can't sue, even though she's the one that the threat was against? She was the one that was told that she was going to be killed. But from what I understand, the other liability for Hannah is that this police officer can go after her in a civil case. Is this true?
Yeah, this police officer can. House Bill 838 in Georgia, signed by Governor Kemp, says the offense of a biased, motivated intimidation is now a cause of action that was signed in 2020. So basically, they can go after. How they prove damages, again, that's Shaitan Turner, Simone Redwine's expertise, but they have a cause of action now after 2020 for this behavior.
So if that police officer wanted to be a pain in this young lady's behind, she can civilly sue her for threatening her life.
Well,
that emotional distress would be an example.
Stop it. Stop it.
Oh, I'm scared. This big fat
Caucasian. You're a police officer.
This big fat Caucasian lady is going to jeopardize my job. This big fat Caucasian lady is frightening me. We got to flip it on them, because they like to tell us that we're aggressive and we're intimidating. Well, your BMI is intimidating me. How about that?
Oh, here you are. Oh, I'm scared of the little skinny white girl. You show up in the Lululemon talking about I'm a big fat black girl. I'm real scared now.
She was not skinny.
Your BMI frightening. You are a tic-tac away from
her.
Oh gosh, y'all are hilarious.
And y'all jealous.
However, we respect all people.
Oh, he said y'all are jealous.
fat
Yeah,
people.
get
I
to
have a lot
nowhere.
of fat friends. They're my favorite people to go out to eat with, actually. I'm just saying,
Because
I don't like.
they split the bill.
Had
Because
the
they split the bill.
You know what?
They
Hold
always
on,
they got the
wait a minute.
best recommendations for restaurants. But I'm just saying, I don't like the fact that she is not perfectly fit herself. And she's like, you fat black bee. Girl, look in the mirror.
Right. Okay.
But,
All
but
right.
wait, Your Honor, before you,
That is, look at that. You hold on a
That's
second.
the BMI
Oh,
I was
Dad.
referring to. That's the BMI.
that's a whole. That's more than a handful back there. But we're not
Linebacker,
discriminating
bitch.
against her based on size. But the thing is that I thought was interesting is, do you want to talk about the potential like Diddy element to this, Your Honor?
Yes.
So what she's saying is that she was at a party and she left her drink and came back to it. And she's alleging someone slipped her a Mickey. And because they put something in her drink, it converted her into a racist. And she doesn't even remember any of this. That's what she's saying.
Listen.
Those
You
Karen,
file a police report.
those
If you want me to believe you, go file a police report. She's
right.
not gonna
Those
do that.
Karen. That's
It's a
right.
crime.
Those Karens, because she's not going to do that because then she has to take a toxicology test. And then she'll be proven that there is nothing in there, so she couldn't lean on that lie. Those
It's too
Karens
late
will
for
make.
that. The half-life of the date rape drugs is so rapid that it was too late. She would have had to do it immediately afterwards in order for them to find in her system. So the toxicology results aren't going to be what she
Right.
thinks they are. But here's the thing is Attorney Ross knows. People start pulling these defenses out of the air, let's say, or she had a lot in her posterior that she might be pulling hers out of, just to try to find some reason that says that they're not responsible. Yeah, there's that posterior.
Well,
Y'all are on fire tonight.
in Your Honor, in agreement with Ms. Turner, unless you could prove that you were under the influence of a date rape drug, right? Which would
Right.
probably give you an escape. The fact that you were drunk
Does not.
is never going to be a defense to any crime whatsoever under the influence of drugs. You're not going to be able to get out of that. So for all the algoriters, well, I was at the party and I was drunk. Don't even try it. I'm going
Right.
to tell you right now, shut that down.
And also, you got to be very careful to say that you got something slipped into your drink because they could technically test you. They could technically test your urine or your blood. All right. Speaking of date rape drug, Darren Sharper, welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. This is a very, very sensitive topic for me because Darren Sharper and his brother are very good friends. Jamie Sharper are very good friends of mine. I was Jamie Sharper, his brother's RA when I was at the University of Virginia, very close with this family, an incredible family. But I do want to break down this case because this case has taken a new twist. All right. Darren Sharper, a former NFL star. Some of you may have known him when he became known in the limelight for dating Gabrielle Union, was sentenced to 20 years in prison after being convicted of multiple crimes involving the drugging and raping of women across 4 states, Louisiana, California, Arizona, and Nevada. Now, I'm going to throw to you on this one, Brian, because he was loved by everybody.
Black excellence.
Put that out. And when I say loved by everybody, he was loved by his community. He was loved by his friends. His teammates loved him. Miami loved him. He was a resident of Miami. Just an all-around great guy. Brian Ross, take it away and talk to me about the severity of the changes in his sentencing and why you think that's so.
Darren Sharper was one of my favorite defensive players. When I played, I tried to emulate a lot of what he did. And it's hard to do because he was like you said,
you're like 5 feet tall, Attorney Ross.
I was fast. I could jump. Okay.
Attorney Ross, you're like 5'2".
I'm 5'10" and a half. Okay. You want to go there, all right?
Shame on you, Al.
But I'll stop the comparison when it came out that he, unfortunately, R-word, right? However you want to say it, so many women. And he was convicted, I think, 20 years in prison over this in multi-jurisdictional California, Louisiana, and Nevada. So my man is, this is a pretty black man. You pretty, baby. You're on Fox Sports. You are part of the Super Bowl champion. You got the world. Look at the man. Man is pretty. Why do you have to drug anybody?
Right.
All you got to do is say, my name is Darren Sharper. Done. Conversation over. Why are you putting Ambient in women's drinks according to the conviction report?
Right.
So now, in the world of post Diddy, he's going to apply for parole in 2024. Had it been 2023, he might have got it.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get it.
Get it in 2024.
I don't think he's going to get it.
Let him get it.
Okay, so let's talk about the plea deal. Let's talk about the plea deal that was in place and how interesting that nowadays, given the sentiment of what's going on legally in trend or whatever, which is Diddy, his plea deal has kind of basically been taken away. That it's rejected. The judge rejected the plea deal, the original plea deal, and said 20 years. Like he's been handed the book.
Well, when you cut these deals for your clients, right? Your client's been in, like, for example, Diddy's in jail now. Let's suppose the judge, his lawyer does a miraculous job and he gets 3 years in prison for all this, right? Which probably won't happen. The time he spent in prison is called CTS, credit time served. Okay. Darren Sharper had credit time served. He had been convicted in one jurisdiction and was awaiting trial in another jurisdiction, and the judge in that jurisdiction gave him credit toward his criminal conviction in that jurisdiction for what happened in the previous jurisdiction, right?
Oh, wow.
So he's in jail in prison, Louisiana for a year, awaiting trial in California or Nevada. They gave him credit for the time he spent. Then he goes to trial in Louisiana. He gets 2 years credit for all of that. So when you go to parole him, right, his lawyer says, tells the U.S. attorney, let's rope it into one. U.S. attorney signs off. Everyone's happy. He leans in his ear and says, look, you've already done 3 years. They want 20. You're eligible for parole at 9. So you have 6 years to go. Become a trustee. It's not day for day. I'll have you out of here in 5.5. Can you handle it? Yeah. But now in a post Diddy world,
right? Now this lawyer is like, right now we're in this Diddy era. They're not having any
nothing.
And those general rules are no longer applying. And it appears to me, and this is the thing that upsets me, and I brought this up on a previous day, is that they're not going to have any empathy with these black entertainers. None. These black athletes, these black entertainers, they don't care. They don't care that you are admired. They don't care that women are throwing themselves at you. They don't care about any of that. They just are seeing this as an opportunity to really throw the book at you in the most severe way. So algoriters who's got family members, you need to be aware. Now, this is interesting. I'm going to go to you on this, Simone. Simone, why were they able to so successfully? Because they are also getting Darren Sharper on drug distribution.
Wow.
Right? And an intent to commit rape. Why isn't that a part of Diddy's claim? Because it's basically the same thing. They said that the reason why that he was charged with drug distribution is because he would put the Ambien in their drinks and he would travel with the Ambien from one jurisdiction to another. And so they're saying that he distributed controlled substance. Why isn't that on Diddy's docket, or why isn't that on any of his charges?
Let me preface this by saying I was so sad when I heard about these allegations regarding Darren Sharper, because a girl like me, I would have gave it to him for free. Okay. I would have busted it wide open. I would have told him, bring it back. I would have thrown that ass in a circle.
Right. Like, you would not have had
rhombus. I would have thrown it in a rhombus. Okay. There's not a lot of women that'll do that with that bone structure. So this was patently ridiculous.
Girl, let me get some order.
Rhombus.
You know what? No more hormone shots for you. No more hormone shots. No more hormone shots for you before coming on air.
I'm just saying. I do believe.
What's the rhombus shape again?
there's a plethora of things I can do. And, I made B's in geography, so I could have, geometry, so that could have been wrong. But related to Diddy, okay, in all seriousness, I believe, we know there's going to be more indictments coming forth. And so here with Darren, because he put it on these women, he gave it to these women, and therefore they ingested it. That's how they got the distribution. With Diddy, I believe, so it was Monday, earlier this week, Tony Busby, in a complaint that he filed, stated that it was basically upon allegation and belief that Diddy laced the baby oil with GHB, the date rape drug, and that it was then people then put it on their bodies, the baby oil. Your skin can be one of the best ways that your body can obtain, certain drugs. And so I believe if that has in fact been proven or becomes proven by the feds, right now it's not part of the allegations, that they will tack on a similar allegation, a similar indictment.
So is it true that the court document shows that it did test positive? The baby oils did test positive for the date rape drug. Now, it did not. Okay. Because that is going around on the net. But this is what I want to talk about. If it did, isn't that premeditation?
Absolutely. It's premeditation, it's collusion, and anybody who touched those bottles is in trouble. Because if that happened, it wasn't by Diddy himself, right? Diddy doesn't have time to sit around and infiltrate 1,000 baby oil bottles. Right. And there would have been a plethora of people, but we also know Diddy likes to do what? He likes to obtain compromise. He likes to blackmail people. So that may have been something that he had one person do, and then he got him on camera doing it and said, if you tell anyone, you're going to go down for this, because here I have a video of you doing it. So I anticipate deals may be made in which those people are given either a light sentence or given immunity in exchange to letting you know.
All right, last question. I'm going to take this back to our criminal defense attorney. What is the conspiracy charges against Brian Sharper? And is it because of the co-conspirators? But why would he get a conspiracy charge?
Against Darren Sharper, what's conspiracy?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, the conspiracy is that there was more than one person who did it. So conspiracy always requires a meeting of the minds, a contract, a desire to do something together, two or more. And so there were times where the date rape drug led to more than one man, including Darren Sharper, are raping these poor women. So they would, wherever they meet the bar, hey man, she's ready. And next thing you know, the two of them can spot to go. One guy goes in the room, one guy leaves. Horrifically sad, terrible, disgusting behavior.
All right, I agree with you. Last thing I want to talk about this with you, Shaitan, is Ambien.
Yeah, Ambien's actually inexpensive and an effective way to make someone compliant, because they just kind of go to sleep, right? And they get the munchies. That was one of the things for that drug too. But yeah, in this opinion, and I agree with Attorney Redwine, this is very sad, because clearly there's something seriously wrong with him. He was rich. He's handsome. He could have had all access. But what he wanted, apparently, was to have women who could not object. And so this was not about getting ass.
If he could get it, right? Because he can get it.
Right. It was about having control. It was about being with somebody who was incapable of denying him. And that's why I think they actually changed. The judge was so offended because he pled guilty, and there were tons of women across different states. And I think the judge, and rightly so, quite frankly, decided that he needed to be made an example of, because if he wasn't, then this could have, effects that were unintended with a whole bunch of other men in similar circumstances thinking they could do the same thing. But it's, as you said in Chambers, I will sanitize it since we're on TV, but who wants to do a corpse? Like, what is in it?
I don't even get that. I don't get that. And I want to go to Brian on this. The sad part in all of this is that there are 16 women that we know of. And if anybody followed this case, the way Simone described it, she would throw it in a circle. The women most of them never once felt threatened or put, they actually wanted to come over to his house. It was Darren Sharper. They, and they were having a good time when they were sitting there talking to him and hanging out. Brian, tell me, what is it psychologically? Because I still don't understand this whole knock them out and then abuse them. And I'm sure you've had a number of these cases. What exactly is this about? Because you're basically having sex with someone who is not dead, but body who just sleep. They're asleep. It's different when you're married and you're rolling over, you try, at least they'll wake up and they'll rumble, a little bit. But in this particular case, they are actually asleep.
It goes from all horrible mental health demented levels, right? But it goes from a top level, not the top level, a level of I am very wealthy. She's going to try and say I got her pregnant. She's going to try and say something. So I don't want her to remember it. Disgusting. To another level of I don't have time to be in a relationship with her. Let me just get out of it. To another level of, right? To another level of maybe I'll be rejected by her. Right? We stand outside this and look, you got everything. You've been to the Super Bowl. You're wealthy. You're considered handsome, but there's still this something in you that makes you afraid to be rejected. So then rather deal with that rejection, you get around it in a very illicit way.
Wow.
So there's layers to this. It's not every case I've had of this is different. It's all scary to me. You deal with it because everyone's entitled to the presumption of innocence, but there's different levels to it for sure.
Great breakdown. Thank you for that. That all is helping me understand a little bit better. So, Simone, if you were representing him, why wouldn't you consider this a psychopath? Why wouldn't you consider this a mental illness? Did we lose her?
Simone?
Sorry, I'm here. Juries just really aren't buying that anymore. And that's because, not because these people aren't nutty, it's because juries have heard.
But this sounds nutty to me.
It is nutty. But it's because jurors have heard these stories about people who have pled insanity and then walked, served practically no time. So out of fear of what is the consequence of finding that, but then also they could argue then must all, our people who do the R word, are they all insane? And here, now I have to say, you know what? I can't tell that story on this internet. I'm going to have to, that's going to be on my members only. Join me on my members only tonight. I have a Darren Sharper story. I literally was about to sleep at his house. I was about to spend.
Which one? The one in Miami?
New Orleans, his New Orleans condo. I was going to spend the night for an entire weekend in his New Orleans condo. And I'm going to tell you a story about that. It does involve the rhombus, throwing my ass in a circle. They're going to keep that to my channel. Girl, is that legal? Look at that bone structure, Mike.
You got to tell the story now. You got us all interested.
What
You can't
does his brother look like?
Yeah, you can't. I'm gonna hold you in contempt. You better tell that story. Get to talking.
Don't tell the story.
Tell that story.
No, I advise against it. But as somebody who's watching the show right now, bring it on.
I need to bring it on.
Don't tell the story.
Let's tell the G-rated version.
All right, the G-rated version is okay. I'll tell the full story on my channel, but the G-rated version is that one of my homegirls was like, "Hey, girl, do you want to go to All-Star Weekend with me?" I was like, "Ugh, it's so late," and this was going to be like a week or two before All-Star Weekend, and I was like, "Girl, it's too late. We're not going to be able to find a hotel room." She was like, "Yes, we can. We can stay at my ex's house." I said, "Who is your ex?" She said, "Darren Sharper." I said, "Bitch, I'm about to steal your man." I was like, "Bitch, I'm about to steal your man." In my mind, I didn't say it out loud, but I was like, "Oh no, I don't think we should do that," because I was about to steal her man. And then I called my homegirl because it's something in my spirit. Because I'm with Jesus's favorite sinner. Okay. So the spirit talks to me really loud. And something in my spirit was like, "Girl, don't you do that. Girl, don't you do that." And I didn't know if it was like, "Girl, don't steal this girl's man," or "Girl, don't lay up in this man's house for some
don't throw
reason.
It in a circle.
Yeah, don't throw it in a circle or a rhombus. I wasn't sure. But I called my bestie, Maria in Dallas, Maria Fembres, you know who you are. And Maria, I was like, "Maria, should I go?" Something tells me I should. She was like, Darren Sharper, because Maria know everybody. I was like, yeah. She was like, that man was just indicted on the R word last week. I was like, bitch, what? She was like, you gotta stay in a rapist's house. I was like, girl, what? I called that girl back. I was like, bitch, we are not friends no more.
Okay.
You was trying to set me up. And she was like, oh, well, I don't think he did it. I don't care. Do you know my father? I expunged my father's record. Okay. You about to make my father go down there and pow that man in New Orleans and Orleans Parish and end up in the Orleans Parish jail. Luckily, that hasn't been the case. Darren has gone to the jail.
Right, because you're a good Catholic girl. All right, everybody. Excellent story. Excellent story. All right, everybody. The likes aren't liking. Be sure to hit that like button. Also, if you're not subscribed, obviously you see why you should be subscribed. Hit that subscribe button and share. Share it with some friends. Bring them on over here so they can enjoy the court of public opinion. Also, please continue to jump down in those comments because we love to hear from you. We're going to get to the portion of the show where we go to the jury to answer any questions. And also turn on your notifications because we're going to be talking about the Jussie Smollett case with actually the two African brothers who helped with the hoax. And we're going to get their opinion and their insight as to why would they ever do anything so crazy. All right, next up, Charles White, welcome to the court of public opinion. Now, this is interesting, right? Charles White, who we all know, faces aggravated assault charges, which is a second-degree felony in your state of Texas, Simone. The crime typically involves intentional causing serious bodily harm to another person while using or exhibiting a deadly weapon, such as a gun. Now, he's also charged with animal cruelty charges, specifically related to torturing or causing serious harm to an animal within the owner's consent, without the owner's consent. Now, the interesting thing about this case, and I'm going to throw to you, Simone, it's happened before with him. He has multiple animal cruelty charges. He has multiple aggravated assault charges. Attorney Redwine, please share with us what's going on in the state of Texas.
Yeah, okay. This man is a derelict. He is a derelict. He is a stain on the community. He is a waste of sperm. And arguably, his mother should have swallowed him. But because she didn't, we are here today discussing this.
What in the world?
Arguably.
Okay, so what is his deal? Because why is he constantly in these aggravated assault cases, and why is he always hurting animals?
I think he hurts animals because he doesn't have friends, because he can't get along with people, because he's a terrible human being. But here there was, as you stated, previously he was accused of pepper spraying a cat. Pepper spraying a cat was the prior animal incident that he had. Then he's had another one here. In addition to the aggravated assault that he's accused of, he claims it was because he walked outside of his home with a gun to protect his wife. Really, this is a little bitty little person. And I don't even like calling him a little person because it makes other little people look bad. But he's a person who, he would start a fight, but he won't finish it with his mouth or his hands. He wants to go and get a weapon. And that is why he was arrested in this incident. But his time is coming because he just sparks too many fights with the wrong people. And I just feel like this incident was just another one where he just effed around and found out. But this guy's got to hurry up and make that bail. Currently, I found it interesting that they don't currently have a bail set for him. His offenses are such that they should, right? For animal cruelty, you're entitled to a bail. For aggravated assault, you're entitled to a bail for that. So it'll likely be set at around 10,000, but 10 and 20,000. This is Tarrant County. They don't really like Black people there, but still, they'll give them a bail. So
now, is it true? Now, I've only heard this, but in the state of Texas, it's my understanding that animal cruelty is a felony. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes, that is true. They love animals. They hate Black people.
In the state of Texas. So I just want to make sure I'm clear. So if you say someone's walking a dog and the dog, jets out at you when you're passing and you stomp the hell out of that dog, you could actually be charged with animal cruelty.
If they feel like the dog was demure, the dog was kind. The dog, didn't deserve the stomping. Correct. You absolutely can. In fact, there has actually been, there was a man that was sentenced for murder for shooting a police canine.
Oh shit!
That's different.
He was treated as killing a cop. For whatever reason, there's legislation out there that treats police canines better than black people. See, you know how you can shoot a black person in the back and not go to jail. You shoot a police dog in the front or the back, and you can go to jail for murder.
All right, attorney, criminal defense attorney, explain to me what you were saying about the canine.
Yeah, the dogs are treated as actual police officers. Simone's absolutely correct about that. So if the dog comes in to bust in your crack house and you shoot the dog, it can be considered the same as shooting the police officer when they come in to execute a felony warrant.
I had no idea of that.
Yeah, in a lot of jurisdictions, especially in the South, that's accurate.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that way. That's been that way for 20 or 30 years. That isn't new.
None of that's new.
It's new to the citizens who didn't know it existed because it sounds stupid. Put a thumbs up in the chat if you think that sounds stupid.
Well, if they weren't dealing crack, they wouldn't have to send a dog on your back.
Just a dog in general. That seems extreme to me.
Right.
They're commissioned officers, though. That's the thing, as Attorney Ross is indicating. So that's why they wear the cute vest. Is not just because it's an outfit, it's because it's designed to convey to people that they're officers. Here's the challenge, though, and algoritmers and everybody else need to be aware. Just because you don't know something does not mean that you have a defense against committing that crime. And so given how there's a plethora of things that you might not be aware of, like people just really should take measures to stay on the straight and narrow. Yeah, like
or watch the court of public opinion.
Don't do crack. That's the first thing. Then you don't have to
Don't do
worry
crack.
about shooting.
Crack is whack. Crack is whack.
Don't do crack.
Crack is whack. Or watch the court of public opinion. I've learned so much. I have learned so much from you lawyers. When I first created this show, I wanted a safe space to express how, sometimes the law isn't always on our side, and sometimes, in the court of public opinion, we can have a difference of opinion, and that's okay. But I have learned so much from you guys teaching me the law that like now I'm just so much smarter and I move different. So I appreciate you for that. All right, let's keep it going. All right, everybody, this is a sad story. R. Kelly, welcome back to the court of public opinion. R. Kelly's daughter, Buka Abi, alleged that her father sexually abused her when she was around 8 years old. But these allegations were not formally pursued in court due to the statute of limitation. How sad. Bailiff, can you please put up our clip about Buka Abi?
Words for him.
He was my everything. For a long time, I didn't even want to believe that it happened. I didn't know that even if he was a bad person, that he would do something to me. I really feel like that 1 millisecond completely just changed my whole life.
If my son asks questions, I'm gonna be as truthful as possible. But I will not be taking my son to a prison to meet his grandfather.
I'm devastated by that. I am completely devastated by this. Am I the only one devastated by this? I'm more than devastated. I'm pissed off. And like you said, Belly B, where was the mother? And if you follow this case, guys, if you follow this case, it was reported. It was reported. And the family structure still stayed together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shaitan, you have a daughter. tell me, give me something to lean on. You got 2 daughters, Brian Ross. Y'all give me something here, because I am devastated. I'm devastated.
I mean, whenever you hear about pedophilia, molestation, especially with the father of a daughter, it just like goes completely to your heartstrings. It's something that should never happen. It's unnatural. And yet, under these circumstances, is anybody really surprised about the allegations? I mean, if you look at her picture, she looks like Aaliyah.
Wow.
R. Kelly has been convicted, and it's been proven that he has a problem. And so I would be loath, though, to blame the mother. And here's why. Adults are responsible for their own actions. He was a monster. He took liberties with his daughter that he shouldn't have taken. The only way that the mother could have controlled it is if she did not do human things. She didn't ever use the bathroom, or she didn't ever go to the grocery store. She didn't ever do things that humans need to do to stay alive, right? If her goal was to just prevent him from touching her daughter. But here's the other thing. We know what we know now. They were married, I think, something like from 1996 to 2009 or something. In 1996, we were all jamming to R. Kelly. You know, the mother may not have suspected that he had this propensity at the time. And I have to believe that the mother loved her daughter. And so I just think we should show the mother some grace when people are like, where was the mother? But in truth, I hope this does get looked at again. It sees the light of day, and maybe it'll be used to tack on crimes and for his sentencing.
Well, what I will say is that Drea did start the divorce proceedings in 2006. The daughter did not bring it, allegedly, reveal the abuse to her mother until 2009 when she was 10. So I guess you could give some grace there, but it's almost like, this is the question for me. It's almost like turning a blind eye because you care for someone or love someone. You saw what he was doing with all these other women, and then to find out that he's doing it to your daughter too. It just seems traumatic to me. I'm gonna go to you, criminal defense, Brian Ross. In this case, all the courts can do is basically say, "Oh, sorry, beautiful. I can understand the mental anguish, the emotional stress, all of this on you, but your statute of limitations are over. So, best of luck."
Is it likely that she's going to want to prosecute her dad? It's unlikely. Not because he's not guilty. He's guilty, at least according to her, but because it's emotional. I stopped taking these types of cases 2017, 18, because you go through a trial on it, and when your trial is over, you just want to take a shower. You hate this career. You hate everything about this world because the FBI has raided your client's house. They found 2,000 kiddie porn photos on it, and you just want to cry, but you still have to do your job. And I feel for this poor girl. If this is true, my heart really, really goes out to her. I hope she gets the therapy she needs, because therapy can help these a lot. But are you going to prosecute your dad? Probably not, because it's too emotional. And I was in Chicago from 2009 to 2010, living on the south side of Chicago in Hyde Park. There were rumors then,
right,
that R. Kelly was doing things. There was a high school there called Kenwood or Kindlewood, I forget the name. And they would tell me that R. Kelly's Bentley or Rolls Royce was pulled up outside the school, and he was taking 15, 16-year-old girls out of there. I never saw it.
Yep.
I was a school teacher. I don't know if it's true.
You were a school teacher?
Yeah, he used to be a school teacher.
Oh my God, he used to be poor.
Yeah, I taught 3rd grade, 4th grade.
I love
Did
that.
you say poor?
Oh, yeah, I did it.
Kids with their
And I was
homework.
like,
I was one too. I taught dance at school. So I just, it's hard to leave that kind of career and then like go back to school, you know, once you've furnished your apartment and you've got
Yeah.
furniture and everything.
Yes, it's hard.
But I just think that's admirable. I'll also say as well, I'm glad, Al, that you
Yeah,
added that.
I wanted the reason why I was going to throw to you, Simone, because you actually represented a client as it relates to R. Kelly.
Correct.
So I definitely wanted to hear your take on this and your thoughts surrounding this.
Right. So I was the first attorney to file a civil lawsuit against R. Kelly in the state of New York.
I didn't know that.
Under-
Wow.
Yeah. Under the current act that got Cassie justice, that's going to get Thalia Graves justice, that's going to get Don Richards justice. All of the people now that are filing lawsuits in New York against these music moguls. I chose New York for my venue. It was between New York and Texas. And I chose New York because of the protections that they had in place for victims there. And what I will say is it is poignant and important that Andrea Kelly, the mother of this particular victim, she now goes by the name Abby, that she filed for divorce first, all the way back in 2006, y'all. That was back around the time that the first set of allegations happened.
Right. Yes.
So we should give her credit for that. She said, oh, hell no. I'm going to out this thing. I'm going to figure it out. And she has.
Yeah,
And
but
so
how much credit? How much credit? And listen, I'm not. How much credit should we really be giving here? I mean, in your basement of your house, you got a brothel where women are being held.
Right, but I would assume
and you don't, and that happened for years. For years, your girl. Let me tell you something. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to get in trouble for this, and I don't care. You do not date R. Kelly, and your girlfriends are not on the phone telling you what that man is doing every day and where. I don't care. Black women are too nosy. Black women, brown women, white women, all of them are too nosy. If your husband is down there parked at McDonald's buying kid meals for little kids, your girlfriend is talking about it. If your husband is down at the school parked across the street in a limo, your girlfriend is telling you. If a little girl is being dropped off for a studio session by a grown woman that you go to church with, your girlfriend is telling you. You cannot tell me that woman had no idea or that no one ever told her what was going on with her husband.
I'm telling you, Your Honor, here's the thing. You got to say, what did she know?
And rich people. One of the issues that's different is when you're wealthy, right? You tend to be surrounded by people who are your friends, largely in part of the access you can provide them with. So you surround yourself by yes people. So they
but you always got that one girlfriend that be like, girl, I don't know if it's true.
No, but wait,
you have a controlling partner.
R. Kelly is one of the biggest
talents in the country at
that time. Brian, help me out here. I refuse Girlfriends are so nosy. You can be around a girlfriend. Somebody could be at the mall minding their business. Your husband said hi. You will get a call or a text.
Yes, hindsight is 2020. There's a depravity continuum, right? There's a depravity continuum. So what her friends knew and what they shared with her was not, I think your husband is messing with your daughter. Nobody told her that, right? Because if they did, it would have had a different outcome. And so I think we should just focus on what this current allegation is. And maybe she was stupid and naive and ignored some of the other stuff. And she didn't have the wherewithal to connect the dots and said, if he did this to these other people,
I'll give you that. Okay, attorney, I'll give you that. Okay, I will. But I can't give you living in a house where a man was doing this for years before he even got to your daughter. You should have been out of there before he had the opportunity to do it to your daughter. That's just what I'm saying. I don't know the details. Take R. Kelly's name off of it. Take Drea's name off of it because I don't want this to be positioned the wrong way in what I'm saying. Take all the names off of it. Take all the celebrities' names off of it. If you know that or you got rumors that your husband is a sick person messing with young people, I'm sorry. I could not have stayed around and waited for it to happen to my
I am
time.
telling you
I couldn't have done it.
that the money changes people's motivation.
Preach,
They
Pastor.
become afraid. I've heard people say these things about Cassie that blow my mind. That she couldn't leave Diddy. I've heard people say she was complicit. Blows my mind. But people with wealth, real wealth, not 1 million, not 5 million, 20, 50, $100 million, have the ability to exert influence over people in their camps. Oh, you want to leave? Give back them car keys. Oh, you want to leave? Oh, now you're going to pay your rent. Those are silent, devilish whispers that people make that prevent other people from leaving. Unless you're strong enough to walk away from that, it's tough.
I get it,
Well,
but
to Attorney
listen.
Ross's
Let
point,
me
our
tell you how. Let me tell you how
family
tough it was. Let me tell you what it costs. How tough it was. It cost your daughter getting
Everything.
abused. I can't. I'm sorry. And Colette Davis, I agree with you. I'm not saying that Drea knew that her daughter was being molested. Please do not screw up my words. I did not say she knew that. What I did say was it's hard for me to believe that she did not know what her husband was doing with other young girls. And other young girls are somebody else's daughter. Let's be clear. All right. That's somebody else's daughter. It might not be yours, whoever, but it's somebody else's daughter. So for me, if I knew that my husband was, or I had an inkling, or there was an undercurrent of my husband doing this at the level that he was doing it, I just don't know that I could have stayed with my kids. Sorry, that's me.
It's
Chew me a new one.
It's very prevalent, though, Your Honor. Like, I mean, and I'm not making excuses for her, right? I think at some point everybody reaches their limit, and eventually she reached hers. But what I'm saying is that how many, okay, nobody has to name it, but how many husbands have a serious pornography problem, right? They're masturbating all the time. They're doing all of these things, which in hindsight indicates that they have a propensity to engage in some sort of sexual misconduct. And you're going to blame all those women too, saying, oh, well, you knew that he was doing this, you knew he was doing that. I'm saying I don't know what this woman knew and when she knew it, but what I do know, she didn't know harm was happening to her daughter. She may not have known those girls were so severely underage. I mean, as Simone indicated, when she filed for divorce coincides when a lot of it broke. So it's not as if she had no moral compass.
Not happen. Broke, but not happen.
She had more courage. She could have had more courage. She could have stood up. But somebody put in the chat, Mariah Carey was being held by armed guards allegedly by her first husband, and she was a superstar. We do not know what kind of power and control he was exerting on her that kept her in that household. And from what we have seen publicly, he had a problem, and he was not above using his power to control people and to try to ruin their lives. She may have thought her daughter's life was in jeopardy if she left. So let's not be too judgmental.
No, I'm not. Like I said, take her name off of it. Take her name off of it. Call her Y. Call R. Kelly X. I just something in my head just keeps going over and over. When I listened to his daughters, I watched it. I could not get through it. It was devastating. And all I could think in my head was all this time that he was doing this to all these other people, if she would have just been removed, maybe. That's all I kept thinking in my head. Sorry, that's where my mind went. If she was just removed from the home, maybe it wouldn't have happened to her. All right, guys, we spent a lot of time on this. It got heated. I love a good heated conversation, but we got to keep on because we got to get to the last case in the court of public opinion. Deshaun Watson, welcome to the court of public opinion. Wow.
This is the sex assault show, y'all. Every show will not be like this.
This is right.
Okay, Judge Fellow. We are doing it to bring awareness to these issues. We are advocating for victims. We are
definitely advocates for victims here. But I'm bringing this. I brought this to the court of public opinion. I talked to the bailiff about this because I want to highlight how Black men, we've got to move smarter, and not smarter in if we're doing crimes but we've got to see that it doesn't matter. You could be a successful football player, you could be a successful singer, you could be a successful anything. Now they are coming after you if you do any type of crime, and you got to walk the straight and narrow now. That's the reason why I'm highlighting these. There is only a certain percentage of Black wealth in America. And unfortunately, it comes from Black men between the ages of 21 and 31. Look it up. The most successful, wealthy wealth creators in America are Black men between the ages of 21 and 31. And unfortunately, because we empower them with so much wealth so soon and so easy, they find themselves in these situations in which their lives can be ruined forever, right? And it also affects our community. So that's the reason why I chose to do these stories like this. I apologize, but Deshaun, welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. Despite reaching his settlements, because he did all confidential settlements with his latest accuser, Watson is still under investigation by the NFL for violations of its personal conduct policy. The NFL can impose sanctions, including suspensions, fines, and mandatory counseling. Attorney Brian Ross, talk to me about Deshaun Watson and why this case is so important for other young men that are following in his footsteps.
For those of you that don't know me, I am from the great state of Ohio. I'm an Ohio State. I don't need your appreciation. Okay. I am an Ohio State Buckeye, OH. I am a Cleveland Browns fan to my chagrin, my misery. And my Cleveland Guardians, formerly the Indians, are being beat by the New York Yankees right now. I am a disgruntled person, and this does not help me. Enters Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is the darling quarterback of the NFL, playing football in Simone Redwine State and City. He's the man. All of a sudden, Tony Busby, who is representing victims for Diddy, comes out and says Deshaun Watson has sexually assaulted 20 plus women, blah, 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 blah. He gets through all that and settles all those cases except for two, which are still going. Cleveland, being where I'm from, my state, is desperate for a talented quarterback. We signed Deshaun Watson, and I say we because I paid for tickets in that great season. I want my money back. I'm talking a lot of money. I paid a lot of money for them.
Boy, if you don't get to the deck,
I gotta get a backdrop. This is the point. Because you asked me in Chambers, I was paying for it.
Okay.
They gave him a record-breaking
That's true.
$200 million contract, all guaranteed.
That's right.
As long as he doesn't go to jail or quit, he gets all of it. Now, his agent's smart. He had Shaitan Turner as his agent. His agent said, we'll do the deal as long as you understand that all these women have said this, and we're going to settle it right now, and that you have to pay him regardless of that. He says, fine. What does the owner do? This is what I'm hearing. He waits. This new allegation has been known for a while. Deshaun has had a horrible season this year. So they bring this new woman out, which is the allegation, to sue him. He settles it very quickly. But the problem is the NFL is still investigating. If the NFL finds that he has just cause, the Cleveland Browns can void the contract and release him without paying all of it.
Jeez.
That is the crazy side of this deal. That Deshaun Watson had this outlier that the NFL allegedly kept in his back pocket with the owner, Jimmy Haslam, to say, hey, listen, sorry, sir. This woman told us this is outside your contract. We don't have to pay you all the $200 million. We wish you the best. And that is the crux of this story. But the bigger part is Deshaun Watson has all these sex assault claims, and there's probably more victims. Another person who has a problem.
What did they say, Attorney Ross? Follow the money, right? Follow the money. And if he was winning, right, it probably would be a different story. Let's not to disparage the NFL. I am sure that they have found Jesus on the road to Damascus since they've had all issues, right, with their players. But there's an incentive for the Browns to get out of this contract, right? As a Steelers fan, right? I hope
Oh,
they just
Lord. Oh, Lord.
I hope they keep losing black and yellow. But this is all about them trying to get out of the contract. And the unfortunate thing for Deshaun, even though I have very little compassion for sex offenders, and I don't know how this got to be the sex offender show. The bailiff picked the wrong case.
Great job, Bailiff. Did a good job.
But anyway, for him, I think he's becoming a bit of a sacrificial lamb. And so now that he is known for being a serial sexual assaulter, to Attorney Ross's point, all these women are going to come out the woodwork. He's going to be broke. He might not be with a team. He'll be like the equivalent of a sexual offending Colin Kaepernick. And he just going to be broke and lonely. And it'll be sad. So hopefully his game improves so he can get another contract.
Judge, Your Honor,
what advice can we give? What advice? 1 second, Brian. What advice can we give our young athletes who are making all this great money? Do you know $200 million for
guaranteed
5 years? I won't see that. I won't see that. Yes, ma'am.
Can I give a little context to the prior 25 allegations? Can I give a little context?
Oh, you mean on Deshaun?
That's what I want to ask her because she's there. She's an expert on it. You're in Houston. I really wanted to hear what you had to say.
Go ahead. Yes.
I know you're being facetious, Mr.
I'm being serious.
Okay, so here's my issue with the allegations, and I've discussed this on my YouTube channel, Girl Is That Legal, is that the allegations it was sexual misconduct.
Right.
Not assault,
right.
Misconduct with massage therapists, okay, throughout the Houston area. There was approximately 20 or 25 of them.
Right.
And the misconduct was this. Now, many of you guys may know or don't know that there are some massage parlors that offer happy endings.
Happy endings. Mm-hmm.
Happy endings, right? While that is considered a crime of prostitution, arguably, okay, because most people are like, hey, I'm helping you out here, buddy. It's a form of massage, but it's considered prostitution. What he is accused of is going and getting massages and asking for a happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
Not demanding one.
Asking.
Not forcing one.
That's right.
After one was getting. Asking. I just need you guys to be clear of what we're discussing here.
Right.
Furthermore, some of these masseuses he had previously had consensual relationships with. So
Releases too.
Releases. So if I'm already dating you and we've been intimate and I know you're a masseuse, and so, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you, you don't have a lot of clients on your books. I'm going to come over there. I'm going to see my practice. I need you to take care of me, whatever. And you do your due. Here's what I'm saying. I do not believe in the era of Me Too that was what Me Too law was created to protect or prevent. I want you to ask me, because the thing is, he'd ask you, hey, will you give me a little jingle jingle? Will you give me a little jingle jingle? And then if they said no, nobody claims he forced a jingle jingle.
So let me ask you this. Yeah. Would you have given him a jingle jingle?
Jingle 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 bells. Jingle bells. That bells. Robin Lady Bed. I'm just saying. Okay.
I also thought I agree
all the way.
I agree with you on that, Simone, Attorney Redwine, because the other thing interesting, if you read his court documents, was that the most he did was expose himself, right? Like he didn't.
That was part of the invitation. Right. It was like,
hey, you can't do it.
Look how beautiful this is.
You can't do it.
Does that matter? Before I approach.
You want to play with my toys?
They don't talk about Shrek now. They didn't say Shrek got a little shrimp, not a prawn.
Oh, not the prawn, right?
You can't do it.
See that prawn.
You can't.
All right, guys.
You cannot Kanye West yourself.
You know what? I'm so glad. The Court of Public Opinion is an HR department.
You ain't PC. The PC is out the
window. We need an HR department in this one. Okay, all right, everybody. This is the part of it. This is the part of the show.
Brooks is getting caught up on, though, showing his toy to somebody who didn't want to play with it. That's what he's getting caught up on.
But he didn't ask. He just threw the jingle on him. Okay, let's
Hey, listen. Thanks for the massage. You want to see my Nah,
But
man.
for the algoriters, they really need to understand no matter how impressive their toy is, unless somebody is with you for the express purpose of playing hide the sausage, right? Don't just expose yourself to people believing it's an invitation that they're going to respond
but
positively
how can you not? Okay, I got to argue back on that one because I don't wear clothes when I take a massage. So when you tell me to flip over, you're gonna get the jingle. You're gonna see the good.
No, you're not. You're gonna no. You're gonna stay under the sheet. Wait. You're gonna stay under the sheet and flip it so you stay discreet. That's just ratchet.
Y'all actually use sheets when you get massages?
Absolutely, you use a sheet.
Where are you going?
Okay, let me get to the questions. I'm done with this.
Wait, we have to compliment Attorney Ross on his now. You gotta say it again. Stay discreet and stay under the sheet. Yeah,
under the sheet.
Johnny driving right there.
Bernice Johnson said we need a therapist, accountant, and a minister and a special ed teacher before we can sign a TV deal.
Under the sheet, man. Don't tell. Hey, what do you think this is? The Benny Hill show? Under the sheet, bro.
Bernice Johnson, I love her.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. We probably do, right? Oh, here we go. She said they need a therapist, an accountant, a minister, and a special ed teacher before they can sign.
In the words, time.
I don't know where they heard that, but that's what they got in the chat.
In the words of the famed football coach, one house, one wife, one car.
Dominique said I'm
Earn that word. One house, one wife, one car. That's all you need.
No, actually, I don't like a sheet when a person's massaging me. I don't like a sheet. Are
you telling me that you just out there wide open with no sheet and a massage thing?
You can't get to my whole body, flipping the sheet, moving the sheet.
You keep pulling the sheet down.
No. Okay. All right. I'm talking too much. Here we go. First question. I have a question about indicating, trying, and imprisoning a country's leader that's been charged with genocide, war crimes by ICC and ICJ. Any legal advice?
Let me read this real fast.
Indicting, trying, and imprisoning a country's leader. That's been I wouldn't know where to start. I didn't take those international.
Okay, let me try for you, Judge. Okay. Most of these cases are tried in a country called The Hague. It's an independent court. It's in French. It's not even in English. And they're tried for war crimes. You have to have a special training to try these in The Hague. You have to be a Hague lawyer and you speak French. You cannot go in there with a translator. So what you're talking about is international war crimes, ICC. I'm assuming without hearing more, and those are tried in The Hague. Google this. So if you want to learn more about that, because Judge Reynolds' show is about education. Google Hague, and that's spelled Hague, Hague International War Crimes Court. You're going to find a whole body of case law, mostly tied to Hitler, World War II, and believe it or not, the taking and deprivation of artwork related to Hague war crimes.
All right, next question. Khadijah. Brian, how about you stand with Black women?
Khadijah, let me tell you something. I was making a little nasty little comment about it halftime. Right. My mama said to me, "Who you voting for?" I said, "I don't know yet." She went in on me for 20 minutes about the importance of it. Okay, so I'm voting for Kamala Harris. If that's what you want to leave me alone.
All right, excellent. All right, Kenny Black said Darren was so fine. Why he have to be a creep? Yeah, Kenny, we all kind of think about that. Abby NYC, the MM family, not cute no more. Pretty boy wife. Okay, Queen Nali. They didn't send him to Angola or Wade in Louisiana. What is that?
She's talking about Darren Sharper.
State prisons. Yeah. No, I believe so. He was also tried federally because he did this across states. So I believe he negotiated to be sent to an Arizona prison. that would have been a federal prison. And that's frequently done, Brian, you can speak to this, because federal prisons are far better than state prisons. And don't nobody want to go to goddamn Angola or Wade.
Right. Not in Louisiana. You don't come out, right?
My clients be in Miami-Dade County talking about, just send me to prison, bro.
They want beds, but inmates want beds.
They want a bed.
Feds give you you get the internet, you get email, you get the internet, you get email, you get education, because the federal government finances that, versus for each state they try to cut costs as much as possible. They use private prisons, etc.
Gotcha. Hold on. Let's keep going. We're going a little long tonight, and I don't get you often, Brian. So Afra Singh says, hormone shots. Are you fixing to make a baby? She's trying.
No, I'm not. I'm putting my eggs in the refrigerator. I'm putting my eggs on ice in the refrigerator. That's why I had those. Thank you.
You know you try to make a baby. All right. Belly B said, I give GER zero grace. She saw what he did to those girls, and she stayed. What the
Andrea
WTF did you think she would do to her daughter? She was supposed to protect her. I agree.
Andrea.
All right. Nowhere says these cases today are so horrible. Like, how do people get away with all of this? I agree. People knew about all of this. Interesting conversation there. Professor Cutie Pie said Drea was very sick herself. She stepped aside while knowing he was with other women underage. That can be an argument. Whoever says also, how likely would it have been for the courts to give custody to the rich father over the mother?
It's actually rare in situations like this where the rich father travels a lot for his job.
Oh,
Mom
that's
would
true.
get it because she could be with the kid more frequently.
That's a good point. And then Abby NYC, the MML family, said no one toy is all that good looking. My inbox is full of dudes sending it out.
Boom.
Hey, she said, is that a crime? She said, is that a crime that she can report? Actually, it is. Tell her, actually, receiving porn pictures without your asking for it is a crime.
Depends on if they're adult photos or not. And
yeah,
the
adult
thing
versus
is,
kid.
here's the other thing. If you get it and you don't want it again, and you inform them that you don't want it, and then they continue to send it, then you're slipping potentially into criminal territory. If it's just an unrequited or undesired dick pic, then that's just
why does it always have to be? Why does it always have to be the man? We get the booty pics, and we get the women. Y'all are just as trifling.
You like it. Y'all masturbate to it.
I'm not debating that, but I think Abby was responding to my comment about toys, and I was trying to be demure and
don't try to clean it up. You knew what you were saying when you said it. I ain't jumped on you all night long, woman. I've been a good boy.
He was waiting, baby.
Let me say it. I felt bad about the way I treated her, and I felt bad for 2 days. And I was a good boy. You knew what you meant.
I the shit said it's always the man, Al. I know, especially when you work with Simone and Shatan. All right, everybody, this is the time of the show that we issue our verdicts on the case. Hannah Smith, is Hannah Smith guilty or not guilty of trying to play with that officer with her terrorist acts? Attorney Shatan Turner.
She's guilty.
Brian Ross.
Not guilty. She might have been right. There's a chance that she was right. Right? There's a chance she was jealous of this. Leave her alone.
Stand with black women.
Khadijah.
Guilty.
Oh my God!
This is your opportunity to stand with black women. So hush.
This was your first opportunity. You rolled them down the river. You just sailed them. Okay. Simone Redwine, guilty or not
that bitch
guilty?
is guilty.
All right. I'm Al Rose, and I'm the judge here in the court of public opinion, and we're gonna find Hannah Smith guilty. Guilty is charged. You're gonna watch your mouth the next time, baby, because now not only you being charged with terrorist threats, you're also being charged with willful destruction and maybe hate speech. I'm loving all of that. Throw it at her. All right, next up, Darren Sharper. Is Darren Sharper guilty or not guilty of the multiple crimes involving drugging and raping women from across the states of Louisiana, California, Arizona, and Nevada? Attorney Brian Ross.
He's guilty.
Attorney Simone Redwine.
Real guilty.
You almost were. Attorney Shatan Turner.
I mean, he pled guilty, so I'm going to believe him.
Yep, I'm gonna say unfortunately we're gonna find Darren Sharper in the court of public opinion. Al, your judge is guilty. Guilty is charged. Next up, Charles White. Is Charles White guilty or not guilty of assaulting so many people and being mean to cats and dogs? Attorney Simone Redwine. Is he guilty or not guilty?
He's real guilty.
Attorney Brian Ross.
He's absolutely guilty. What a weirdo.
All right, Attorney Shatan Turner, what say you?
Look at that face. He's guilty.
All right, I'm Alan. I'm the judge of the court of public opinion. We're going to find Charles White guilty because he keeps doing the same thing over
Never ignorant, getting goals accomplished.
over and over again. Come on, Charles. All right, next up, R. Kelly. This is such a sad case. Is R. Kelly guilty or not guilty of abusing his daughter, Buku Abi? Attorney Shatan Turner, what say you?
I believe her. He's guilty.
Brian Ross.
Sadly, more guilt.
Attorney Simone Redwine.
Very guilty.
I'm Al, the judge here in public opinion, and I'm sorry. I believe her too. I'm going to find R. Kelly guilty of child abuse.
Character evidence. Character evidence.
Yeah, I'm just devastated by that. I'm going to leave that one guilt alone because I could throw another one in there. All right, next up, Deshaun Watson. Is Deshaun Watson guilty, or what is he actually guilty of? Attorney Simone Redwine.
He's
Is he
guilty
or not
of
guilty?
upsetting his cracker ass boss. That's what he's guilty of. He's
Attorney-
done nothing wrong.
Attorney Turner. Attorney Turner.
We respect all people, including the Caucasians. But I do think that he's guilty.
All right, Attorney Brian Ross.
I laughed at that because his boss was actually allegedly guilty of stealing money from people from his gas stations. But
Exactly.
your story,
Wait, did you say from his gas stations?
He owns I'm sorry, Judge. He owns a bunch of gas stations called Flying J's and Pilot. If you look it up, he was charged by the feds for stealing money from truckers. His CFO went to prison. He got to buy a football team. But beyond that, Deshaun Watson is probably guilty in the court of public opinion. He's most guilty of not beating the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he's also guilty of something else. So yeah, it's terrible.
I'm gonna take a different stance here. I'm Al. I'm the judge in the court of public opinion. I'm gonna find Deshaun Watson not guilty. I'm gonna find him not guilty. I'm gonna find him guilty of keep repeatedly doing dumb stuff, but I don't see any evidence where he physically harmed anybody. Right? There's no evidence that he raped anyone, that he assaulted anyone. He just has a package and he wants a lot of people to see it.
I mean, he settled it good.
Though that's the standard now. We've talked about so many people engaging in the R word and doing all kinds of stuff that now you're like, well, he ain't do that. All he did was engaging in decent.
I am telling you, this man settled this, Judge. I know you got to go. He settled this because it was the easiest path for him to get to the rest of his guaranteed
to
money.
the $2 million.
Right.
You know how much I'm going to give you to get to $2 million?
Let me tell you something.
$200 million. Sorry, $200.
This is the funny part to me. This is the funny part to me. Every single person that brought a charge against him settled. So if you were so freaking assaulted, if you were so like, done wrong, why wouldn't you just criminally take him to court?
Well,
all of them.
Here's the other important factor. They all settled with the same attorney.
Tony Busby.
Being one of the attorneys who's had multiple types of cases. Like for me, I did FDA litigation. So FDA devices, drugs, or whatever that failed people. What you do is you get them all, you stack them high, you settle them high or low, whatever the frick you can get. He probably, so if he had 25 cases and got 100,000 for each, that's 2.5 million and 40% of that, right? So you just stack them up, sell them cheap. So if he settled them all 25, as an example, for 2.5 million to get to 200 million, he's a
smart thing
genius.
to do.
He's not guilty. He's a
yeah,
G.
but what is it? The way he's stacking these up against Diddy, though, that's a whole nother situation. All right, everybody, that concludes another great night here in the Court of Public Opinion. We hope you enjoyed our legal beagles as we broke down all these legal cases. Be sure to join us back here on Friday for our special edition of the Court of Public Opinion with the Osundaro brothers, who will be talking about the Jussie Smollett hoax. Let's take a look.
Is always a horrible thing, but we've all told them.
Breaking news, Empire actor Jussie Smollett assaulted in Chicago and police investigating it as a possible crime.
When you first heard it, you were like, oh no, this can't be true. Something didn't feel right. Make it make sense. It wasn't just the inconsistencies of the story. It was I'm sticking to the story. I'm sticking to every incident in the story, and I'm not moving off of it.
We were the ones that did it.
Yeah, it was us.
True victims want justice. They don't want a lot of publicity. They don't really want a lot of fanfare.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he wanted to be portrayed as a victim. I was down to do it because if we do this for him, he could probably help us out with our careers.
They know him, and he uses all of his influence and everything to say, bro, this is easy. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine. I'm gonna pay you guys, and everyone's gonna believe me because I'm Jussie Smollett, and this makes sense.
Mr. Smollett, you are now a permanently convicted felon. I acknowledge there are very giving and charitable and loving sides to you, but you have another side of you that is profoundly arrogant and selfish and narcissistic.
I felt like, wow, that judge was really good. I had hope for the justice system experiencing that particular judge.
You are fined $25,000, which is the maximum fine, and you will spend the first 150 days of your sentence in the Cook County Jail. And that will start today, right here, right now.
All right, here, Friday, court is now adjourned.